Hi, my name is Lauren Bechtold, and this is my final report presentation for the class WRD 204. The title of my report is Nursing in the Era of COVID-19, a look at the effects of COVID-19 on the overall well-being of nurses and the possible treatments. The purpose of my report is to look at the effect that COVID-19 has had on the overall well-being of nurses, and look at the possible treatments or solutions that can help reverse these negative effects that COVID has caused. The intended audience is nurses that have actively worked through the pandemic, nurses that work in the ICU, ER, and COVID units specifically. They're the ones who deal with COVID the most. Therefore, they would feel the negative effects that COVID has brought the most. The information in this report could be still useful to nurses who worked anywhere throughout the pandemic, but the ones that take care of a lot of COVID might find this more helpful than others. So the overview, COVID-19 became a pandemic according to the World Health Organization in March of 2020. So I pulled this quote from one of my secondary research articles. I feel like this quote kind of gives a really good picture of the problem. So I'm going to read it. The president of International Council of Nurses, she said, "I'm deeply concerned about the state of the nursing profession. The mental and physical trauma nurses have endured over the past year and the many who may suffer post-traumatic stress. The strain that nurses are under is unacceptable, and it is no surprise that so many are feeling the pressure and deciding that they can no longer continue in the jobs that they love. When dedicated and experienced nurses call time on their profession, it is a clear indication that something is seriously wrong. Nurses cannot be expected to continue if they are overworked and undervalued." So I feel like this quote kind of really gives a clear, hey, there's a problem going on. So according to two different definitions on the word trauma, the pandemic can definitely be classified as a traumatic experience for these nurses, and without proper corrective actions, the problems that nurses are facing can only intensify. The methods that I used a lot of secondary research. There was a lot of surveys that have been conducted since COVID-19 started. So I broke the paper down into fear, depression, sleep deprivation / exhaustion, and personal protective equipment. Each one of these things have had surveys completed and data obtained using their own data metric, and that's where I got my results from. So the data that was collected from those data metrics and stuff showed that many nurses throughout the pandemic have suffered mental, physical, and or emotional exhaustion. This has led to, some nurses are depressed, they're dealing with symptoms of depression. I'm sure all nurses at some point during this pandemic have felt fear, anxiety. There was a lot of unknown in the beginning of COVID, and that can cause a lot of stress on a person. There are many corrective actions that can take place to help reverse these negative effects. One is the Employee Assistance Program, or EAP. Most hospitals offer this, and other companies as well offer this to employees. It's a free online therapy, basically, that employees have access to for managing symptoms of depression, healthy eating, exercise, time off from work, time spent with your family, time just self-care and relaxing, and or the use of medications can be beneficial for managing symptoms of depression. According to the National Sleep Foundation, there are recommendations on the amount of time that one should get every night of sleep. So they also have some sleep hygiene tips. This can be used to reduce fatigue and exhaustion, make sure that you're getting enough sleep at night. Also, having a support system in place is really important for these nurses. They need to have, whether it's a family member, a friend, a trusted coworker, somebody that they can go to, talk about what's going on, talk about their issues, just be able to unload and have somebody else help them out is really beneficial for these nurses. Work remaining, I have all the front matter left to do, the letter of transmittal, title page, table of contents, executive summary, or the abstract, and then I'm going to submit the report to Grammarly so that they can review it for grammatical errors for me. So if anybody has any feedback for me, that would be appreciated. I got some good feedback with my peer reviews, so if you guys have anything else, just lay it on me. And then here is my works cited page of all the sources that I used in my report. I have about 10 of them, so all right, thank you guys.